Well, welcome everybody to this week's episode of Productive Agent Podcast. It's powered by Aubrey Home Loans. Today we have our special guest, Heather Roxburgh. Now, I know we know each other, but but we never really met. We had a meeting last week, but I don't think we've ever met, have we, Heather?
No, we haven't met yet. Not in person.
Well, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So this is part of our top producer series. One of the things I've always said was this benefit that I never realized when I planned the whole thing. I planned to format the software and how it's going to land on a website, where it's going to be published, all that kind of stuff. And, list of people. The side benefit that I never planned on is I just get to hang out with some cool people every week. I mean, I'm like, how cool is that, right? I mean, because we're so busy, we don't meet.
Yep.
True. So
Very
tell
true.
us about you in real estate. So how long have you been in real estate?
I'm going into my 18th year
Okay.
in January. Yep. So a couple more months and I'll be at year 18. I got my license in 2006 and here I am today. So I joined Remax back then. Was with Remax for about 12 years and then I went to Keller Williams and then I just recently made a move and moved over to a real broker.
Got it. So what did you do before real estate?
I worked at Midvale Police Department and I worked with victims of violent crime. So I was a first responder on crime scenes and then just case follow-up every day. So worked primarily with domestic violence victims, but pretty much anything that pertained to a crime. So rapes, homicides.
Oh boy.
Yeah, you name it. We went out and did it.
That's a dark world.
It was a dark world. It was a great job. It was actually a really good job for me to do prior to going into real estate. I feel like a lot of the skills I learned at that position have really helped me in my business.
Sure.
Just as far as like being able to really connect with people and listen to people, help
and ask more questions.
Solver. Yeah, problem solving was one of my big jobs back then, and so something I'm really good at today in my business is solving problems and transactions that are difficult. So.
Well, yeah, that's all what we do is we're project managers, right?
Yes,
we have a family, you have a husband and wife, 3 kids, cat, dog, and turtle. They live here and they want to live here. Well, that's a project, that's a project for sure. And so, well, how did you decide real estate? I mean, what flipped the switch for you?
Well, I was getting a little bit burned out at my job. I had been there for about 8 years. My caseload was pretty hefty. And I had a sergeant that in detectives I reported to, and he just was repeatedly encouraging me to get a real estate license and always said, you do a great job at real estate. And it wasn't anything that was ever on my radar. I dabbled a little bit in flipping houses, had some rentals that I had bought and sold. And so I liked real estate, but it took me a while for him to persuade me to go and at least explore that option. So I was at a point where I was needing to really look at like what I wanted to make my career. And I thought, well, what the heck, I'll go through real estate school and see if I like it. Right. So went through the course. It took me about a year to get through school because I was working full time. I also had 3 little girls at home. And so got through school, passed the test, got my license, and went to work at Remax Associates or Remax Advantage back then. And I was pretty fortunate that at my company, they were really big into Buffini and Company. So Brian Buffini.
Sure.
So, one of their requirements was that I bought 100 Days to Greatness, which is a training program that Brian Buffini puts out. And so I bought that program and I thought, hey, I can do this. And so I just went to my little police department and mined a lot of referrals out of them. And after about 6 months of selling houses and doing my full-time job, I was able to save up enough money to quit my full-time job and go into real estate full-time. So,
good job.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Brian Buffini stuff.
Yes.
And I mean, there's a lot of great stuff out there. I always say, people say, what's a good lead gen source? I'm like, they all work if you do.
They do. Yeah.
Depends on you just got to grind.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think I always tell people if you want to build a very sustainable business where you're not having to like grind as hard every day, like cold calling, door knocking, it's by referral. So it's really putting the systems and platforms together to work by referral. And, it's one thing to work by word of mouth and it's another thing to work by referral. And they're 2 completely different things. And I don't think people make that connection a lot because they say, I get referrals. And I always say, well, what do you think your business could be like if you actually created a system around
Right.
getting the referrals and you have a touch point every single, I mean, multiple touch points a month for your clients to stay top of mind with
Right.
really great marketing and client parties and events and things like that. So there's a very big difference if, depending on how you choose to work. And some people are really good at like door knocking and cold calling. I'm not.
Right.
I don't enjoy that. I enjoy the referral based business a lot more.
Sure.
So that's the direction that I ended up taking with my business.
Yeah. And you have to, like, if you're starting, you have to have, if you don't have a network of people
Yeah.
to start mining from, like you said, then you got to build a list somewhere. If
Yep.
you don't have a list, like I moved here in November of 1995. I mean, I didn't have a choice. I didn't know anybody.
Yep. That's the same year I moved here.
Did you? Where are you from?
I'm actually from Hurricane, so just southern
Oh,
Utah.
okay.
I moved up here when I was almost 20 when I moved here. So I really didn't know, and I had two little girls too. So I wasn't out in the social life. I didn't really know people. So I only
Right.
knew the officers in the police department, and they liked me and trusted me and gave me a lot of business. So it
Right.
worked out really well.
Yeah. So you had a good like starting network, if you
I
will.
had like 50 people. 50 people was all I had. And my first year I sold 30 houses. So I didn't do too bad.
No, that's a career. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, the average agent does 4 or 5.
Yeah.
So, and that was part time, right?
That was part-time. Yep.
Good for
Part-time.
you.
It almost killed me, but I did it.
Yeah. No, you got to, it's a lot of
Part-time,
work.
being a mom and
Right.
working a full-time job and getting called out at night at 2 a.m. and still going and
Oh, yeah. I'm
trying to
like,
learn the real estate
at
business
first I was
and
like, 2 a.m. What the hell kind of client you got? I forgot it was the police department.
police
Yeah.
department. Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? The night crawlers, Holy cow, So,
Yeah, that'd be brutal.
yeah. I mean, I'm a early guy. Like I go to bed at, like I signed up for an event. It was last week, like 6 to 8. I'm like, oh, so I mean, I go to bed at 8:30. It's
Yeah.
like, I get up at 4.
It's the best time to go to sleep and the best time to wake up right there.
Yeah. It's like, I get up, I do my morning routine, and my journaling, praying, whatever, meditation, whatever you want to call it. I do my exercise and, that kind of stuff and do my morning routine. Like by noon, I've already got an 8-hour day.
Yeah. I'm the
You
same
know,
way, Rob.
yeah.
Same way. Discipline.
So yeah, exactly. And then I like habit. Well, I just saw a quote the other day. It says, we don't decide our future. We decide our habits. Our habits decide our future.
Yeah.
Love
I agree
that.
with that. Yep.
Yeah.
How you do
So
anything is how you do everything, right? That's
yeah,
what
exactly.
what it comes down to.
Yeah. When I would show houses, when I was an agent on the streets, and I used to say to them, like, look, we pull up and when that lawn, it's got that razor edge, I'm like, look, this house is spotless. I already know, like you said, how you do one thing is how you do everything. There's
Yeah.
no, I mean, this guy's like, it looks like a piece of carpet. So we know the inside's spotless too.
Yep.
And so, yeah. So, then so you built a network and then, so tell us more about like, what does your routine look like here? What is your, start off with your morning routine to like noon, because afternoon is usually appointments. And
Yeah.
so it's, I always say, if you give me your morning, if you control your morning, the rest of the day just takes care of itself.
Yep.
So
I
describe what that looks like for you.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. So I wake up very, very early. Not quite 4. I used to wake up at 4 every day, and I don't do that anymore. But I'm around 5 o'clock usually every day. And then I do the same thing. I follow Darren Hardy. I love all of his work, so I listen to the Darren Daily every day, and I actually
Right.
journal around Darren Hardy's Darren Daily. And then that's when I'm going to really plan out my day in the mornings when no one is bothering me. I don't look at my
Sure.
phone. The one thing that I am really good at is most people pick their phone up and they check their texts and their emails right when they get
Right.
up. My phone's on do not disturb until 7 o'clock, and I do not turn it off and I do not look at it because something I'm sure in there will derail me from the
Oh
day
yeah.
before or the night before, right? So I plan out my day, make sure I know exactly where I'm going, what appointments I have. And a lot of times if I have listing appointments or things like that, I'll prepare for them early. So I've got all my comps pulled and I'm fresh to go into those appointments. I also, I'm an avid worker outer, whatever you want to call that. I work out every single day. So either I go to the gym and lift weights, or I have a Peloton, I ride my bike or lift weights at my house, or do a combination of all the things. But that's kind of my 7 day a week routine as far as working out goes. I need to be moving all the time.
Right.
Keeps my brain healthy and sharp. And then I get ready, get into the office, and I'm not just in sales anymore. So I do run a team. So I'm with my team, I'm working with my agents, I'm with my admin team. So we do a lot of marketing. I also co-own a marketing company. So I wear a lot of different hats. So, mine isn't like prospecting from 9 to noon. My agents do that. They do
Right.
that as far as their, daily routines go. But for me,
Right.
it's primarily like just running the different aspects of the business and just being here for my team and then setting appointments. I do still sell. So,
Right.
I do a fair amount of that as well. So up until about noon, and then it's usually, I don't really
Appointments.
show homes anymore. I have a showing agent as well. I will if I need to, if my agent isn't available, but for the most part, like I'll coordinate showings for people, get my agents ready to go on that and get ready for any listings. So it's the
Well,
routine.
sounds like you got it dialed in. Systems.
Yeah,
Yeah, systems are the key.
they
I've
are.
always said, I'm like, you know, look at McDonald's, right? McDonald's, arguably one of the most successful corporations in history, right?
Yep.
It's run by teenagers that don't even want to be there.
Yeah,
I mean, so what does
true.
that tell you about systems, right?
Yep.
So systems work, because I mean, none of those guys are in charge, but if they are, they're in charge of a system.
They are in charge of a system and it has to be duplicatable. So
Right.
what I always tell, I do a monthly webinar for, it's just a strategy webinar, so anyone can get on that. But we do it for mainly our marketing company members, and then we just open it up to any agents that want
Got
to
it.
participate in it. But if you have to do anything more than once, you need to create a system out of it. So if
Right.
you type the same email, if it's an example of that is, you receive an offer on a home, right? So you've got to type up an email to your clients. I received an offer. I
Right.
usually
Blah,
do.
blah,
I
blah.
put the high level information in the offer, but I have a full template. So I'm not
Right.
rewriting my email every single time I send it. And it just saves a lot of time. So for me, systems are everything. Like,
Right.
a lot of people have a hard time delegating as well on top of having systems. And
Yeah, I have no issue with that.
I don't either. And people, agents hold themselves back from growing their businesses because they don't want to delegate. They think that my clients want to talk to me, and I always say they don't care if they talk to me. They just want service. So
Right.
whoever on my team is the one giving that service to them, as long as they, represent me well and they hold the standard of our team, they're
Right.
getting the service. And clients don't care. They just want the information. So
That's correct.
an agent can definitely grow their business if they can wrap their brains around delegation and that there are people that can do things better than they can,
Right.
and that our clients
Especially
don't want
administrative
us.
stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's a hard thing for agents to do. Like, I don't want to be the full blown point of contact, and I don't work my team that way. So I have a transaction manager that is in-house in my office, and she pretty much handles everything from onboarding to close. And I rarely get those text messages with the questions, which is great
Right.
because she can handle them. And it just saves a lot of time for me to go do what I do best, and that's getting more clients,
Right.
making it rain for my team, bringing in leads, helping people get closed on properties. So,
Yeah, I've always said there's only three things an agent's supposed to do. One is set appointments. Two, go on appointments.
yeah,
Three, negotiate the contract. That's
amen.
it. Robert Kiyosaki, you nailed on something. You're talking about where, agents are like, they don't want to let go. So
Yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki in his sequel to Rich Dad Poor Dad was the book, The Cash Flow Quadrant.
Yeah, that's a good
So in
one.
the upper left was or E employee, bottom left was S self-employed, upper right was B business owner, and then bottom right was I investor. And he would say, here's the characteristic traits of each one of those. So an S was like, I like a steady job. That was,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, E employee. I like a steady job, a steady paycheck. Where an S, they're self-employed. Their characteristic trait is, I can't find anybody to do it right, so I might as well do it myself. And that's
Yeah.
what most agents are, right? They're S's. And
Mhm.
so where B is a business owner, and that's one of the hardest shifts is from S to B. But a business owner characteristic was why do that when you can find somebody else to do that? You
Yeah.
know?
Yep.
And so an investor just wants to know when they're getting their money back. And
Yeah.
so always love that. And so it's a hard transition from S to B, to let go. But once you do, it's like, what was I thinking?
It's true. It's true. I've coached with Josh Stern from the Stern team for many
Sure.
years, and he has a really great analogy that I love. And he did this with me right when we started coaching together. But he said the life of an agent is I, then it goes to we, then it goes to they. But most agents stay between the I and the we, and they
Right.
never delegate enough or get to the place where they let they do it all,
Right.
right? And that's ultimately, if you're going to run a team, especially, and some people, don't want to run a team or they're on
Sure.
teams, and I think teams are amazing. I
Yeah.
think, agents, if you're individual and you're doing great, or if you want something more, some, teamwork and camaraderie, getting on a team is a great place to go. Or if you're trying to learn, you're new to the business and, you
Right.
need mentorship and some coaching. I think a team is a really good place to start, but going from the I to the we to the they, and I get like, we, they, like
Right.
swings back and forth a little bit
Well, at
depending on,
least you're swinging in the right area instead of the I, the
yeah,
we, you
yeah.
know?
No, I'm really good at I look at the work that I'm doing and I ask myself, it's tempting to just be like, I can forward these seller disclosures on. And I'm like, no,
Right.
you're going to give them to Cassie and Cassie's going to forward them on because it's her job. And
Right.
she wants to do her job. She doesn't want me meddling in her job either. So,
Right.
I try and stay in my lane and let my team members stay in
Let
their
the
lane.
process do it.
And honestly, they do it way better than I do it. Cassie
Sure.
is, when people want information from me, I just straight up tell them, I promise you, you're going to be in way better hands with Cassie because I'm probably going to tell you something wrong. And Cassie knows everything that's going on because
Right.
she's handling all the back end. And they go, okay, great. And I say, I'll have Cassie give you a call and then it's handled. So,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it's,
Either I can call Cassie and find out, or you can, right?
yep,
Find out faster,
exactly.
you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you train clients to talk to your team members throughout the process. And it just saves a lot of time
Right.
because
And they're
there's so
okay with
many,
that. So,
they
because
are
you
okay with
touched
it.
on it, you mentioned that agents believe that their clients only want to talk with them. It's like, no, they want your level of service,
Yeah.
regardless of who they're talking to.
Yeah.
Because if
It's
I'm in a
true.
meeting or if I'm teaching a CE class for 3 hours, they would rather talk to my processor and find out now
Yeah.
than wait 3 hours to find out, that for me to finish the class, check my email, and then go ask my processor and then get back to them. It's like,
Yeah.
just call her.
Yep.
So yeah, no, it's one of the hardest things to let go. I mean, it's for agents,
Yeah, it is.
and it's hard to learn that too. Even when they hire somebody, they're like, like you said, I could just forward them on. It's like, no, just forward them on to your process person and let them do it. Where, because it's tempting to just go, well, here, I'll just do it.
Yeah.
It's like, and because when they hand over a file, because when I would coach agents, I'm like, look, you got to get a transaction coordinator. Well, when I get more busy, I'll get one. I'm like, no, when you get one, you'll get more busy
Amen. I love that you say that. So true.
because you're not doing, again, appointment setting, appointments, negotiate contracts. That's it. And there was, so I wrote this white paper many, many years ago. I called it blog post, white paper, whatever you want to call it. Pablo, and it's really hard and to do as a team leader, right? So the paper was called Pavlov's Paperwork. Now I understand, right? And so what happens is someone starts prospecting, they get a lead, it takes a couple of weeks to get the lead, a couple of weeks to get the appointment, they're not ready to list, you're working, you have the appointment, you don't get it listed for 2 more weeks. They're not ready to go on the market for another 2 weeks. Finally get an offer, or a month later you get an offer, or price adjustment. So by the time it closes, it's like 6 months,
Yep.
And so what happens is, so what does an agent do right before closing? They run around like a nut getting things signed, right?
Yep.
Missing initial here, page missing, whatever. And so what happens is they do this scramble of paperwork, then they get paid. So they start connecting that scramble of paperwork they start connecting that to the reward.
Yeah.
when the reward was actually generated, or the behavior that created the reward happened way back here. But that's so far removed from the reward. It's like if you ever raised a dog, you can't, if you tell a dog to sit and you give him a treat, well, then they make that connection.
Yeah, they do.
But if you tell a dog to sit and then a week later you give them a treat, they're like, well, I don't know what the hell happened, you know? So it's hard to connect the reward and the behavior, or the right behavior. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and even along those lines of having a transaction coordinator, I look back on the beginning of my career, and I wasn't in a position where like I had a husband or spouse that could financially support me. So
Right.
so I had to make money. I did not have a choice. And I also didn't have an option of like having a roller coaster income, which I
Right.
feel like a lot of agents do. Like they'll get really busy with like 2 or 4 or 6 or however many transactions, and they're so focused on that that they let the lead gen side of things go for that
Yep.
30 days, 30 to 45, 60 days while
And then they
they're
crash.
getting these things closed out. And then all of a sudden they close them out and they have nothing in their pipeline. So they have to start all the way over, get over the momentum, and then rebuild up the next transactions that are going to close. And so
Yep.
my goal was always 4 deals a month, 4 deals a month, 4 deals, like no matter what, 4 deals a month. It didn't matter. And I was a recession agent as well. And I never, after my first year, I sold 30 houses. The next year, I sold 37 houses, and the number went up from there. And I've never sold less than 30 houses in my whole career a
Right.
year. And so for me, it was 4 deals a month, 4, 4, 4, 4, right? And so I had to make absolute certain that I wasn't getting bogged down by paperwork and things like that that aren't actually income producing activities for a real estate agent, that someone else
Right.
is doing those. So I could keep the pipeline always full.
Yep.
And I think that's what agents they don't look at the whole big picture. It's a small price to pay, like $350 a transaction if you outsource, or
Yeah.
however much they cost these days. I don't know. Like I said, I have one in-house, but really truly to free up that much time and know that you're in compliance on everything too, to me, it's a
Right.
no-brainer. And
You
you can
get
pass
paid
on some of
faster,
that.
you
You get paid faster, and you can charge a client a transaction fee to
if you want
offset
it.
some of the
Right.
costs if you want to. So there's all different kinds of ways to do it. But agents doing paperwork to me is just like I'm not in my lane when I'm doing that. It's
Nope.
something that is just it's a bogged down waste of my own time. So outsourcing things like transaction management is the easiest thing that you can outsource as an agent,
Yep.
and it's inexpensive to do.
Yeah. So TC is like, because I mean, think about, what does an assistant do, right? They help you with your marketing, they help you with your files.
Yep.
Well, so if you hire a TC, you got your files are covered, but you don't have a salary. And
Exactly.
that's a great way to wean yourself in. And
Such a
then
good.
nowadays you can get these virtual assistants
Yep.
to help you with, like, I have one, and I mean, she's awesome. And it costs me, compared to American wages, it's very inexpensive. And I mean, I pay $6 an hour,
Yep. And it's
and
a
my
great wage
gal,
to them. Yep.
yeah, and it's a good wage to them. And I mean, she has a bachelor's degree in multimedia marketing.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
it's like,
smart.
yeah,
We work with
I
a
mean,
couple VAs right now, and they're very smart. A lot of them are
two
college
languages.
graduates. They're
Yeah.
sharp. They speak good English.
Yep.
So it makes a lot of sense to outsource. And if you don't want to outsource and manage something like a VA, then there's a lot of great companies out there that do transaction management. And it's
Right.
like you say, it's such a really good way to start doing some delegation without necessarily having to bring someone on a full-time payroll. Because
Right.
that's a
That's
scary thing
scary.
for agents
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
Because what if you have a slow month? You got to meet their payroll. You can't, like, just let them go and then hope they come back that following month. That's not
Yeah.
going to work.
No.
Yeah. So no, a TC and a VA is one of the best ways to ramp up, to get in there. And because if you don't, you get on the roller coaster, and then and it's hard to get off the roller
It
coaster,
really is.
you know? And so I think a TC is the first. I mean, I think anybody not working with a TC, anybody that has aspirations to
Hmm.
do a couple more than, like, 6, 10 deals a year. I mean, if you're doing 6 deals a year,
Yeah.
you don't need to pay somebody. I mean, because
Yeah.
you're not, but, and I always say, look, you know, even if you're, even if you're hustling and doing a couple deals a month, I mean, if you spend 15, 20 minutes a day on your files. I mean, that's a lot. I mean,
Mhm.
because it doesn't, I mean, if you stay on top of them, 15,
Yeah,
20 minutes is all you need. And
yeah,
so, but you're not going to get to that next level.
you won't. You'll just stay
No.
stuck. Yep.
Yeah, you got to have to be able to duplicate, because you said it's got to be duplicatable. So I always said it has to be um, profitable and duplicatable. It's like it's got to
Yeah,
make money.
it does.
So I mean, a lot of
Definitely
things are
needs to make
duplicatable.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, yeah, I don't apologize for being a for-profit corporation.
No, no, you can't.
No.
Neither do I.
Yeah. Yeah. And I find that I think for a lot of people, because Utah's a lower wage state, right? I mean, wages have obviously gone up. I mean,
Mhm.
50,000 a year is $25 an hour. I mean, wasn't that long ago. I mean, $12 an hour was a good job in Utah. And,
Yeah,
you know, and somebody making 15, $20 an hour could support a family. And so, but I find where agents make the transition that's really hard is that they go from wages to transactional income. And so where you can, let's say you're making $25 an hour, like I said, that's a good job in Utah. And so where, what's that, 50 bucks? I mean, that's 4 grand a month.
yeah,
And so you could do a transaction and make 12, $16,000. That's 3 to 4 months salary.
yeah,
And you can do it in like, I mean, it's a lot of work, maybe, but maybe, I don't know, 25 hours, and you're making 4 months worth of income. And they're like, how's that possible? I mean, because they haven't made that shift yet, because they still believe that their income is based on the amount of hours they put in
yeah,
rather than their income is based on the results they produce.
yeah,
And that's one of the hardest shifts for people to make, and I mean, I remember doing a deal where, it was years ago, and it was like a 675 deal. I double ended it, made 6%. It's like 42 grand.
yep.
Like, man, I can get used to this.
Yep.
you know, but it's hard to make that shift. I mean, and because it was during the crash, so it's around 2009 maybe,
Mhm.
and we offered. She had it listed for like a year. She called on one of my ads, talked to her, and then I talked, because I used to run an ad, contract for deed and other types of financing, something like that. So she
Mhm.
called me up.
Yeah,
She's tell me more about that. Well, we listed our house for 675 and sold it on seller financing. Like, it was on the market for a year.
yeah,
We had it 2 weeks. We had multiple offers.
yeah.
I'm like,
Getting
you know,
creative.
yeah. I'm like, we couldn't wait for banks to, figure it out. I mean, buyers couldn't buy and sellers couldn't sell. I'm like, well, if money's not changing hands, we're not getting paid.
Yeah, it's so
So
true.
we got to figure it out. And so, but anyway, but I remember that deal. Yeah. And it was like, and the client was like, the way it worked out, I mean, they had to bring cash to the table because the buyer was putting down a couple 100,000, but the difference in loan amounts. So because she owed like 654 and 675 was the purchase price, he was putting down 200,000. So it was like 475. And so we had to use a lot of the proceeds to buy her loan down. So
Um,
she's like, well, I just have to bring 20,000 to the table. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah. I just assumed I was getting a haircut, right?
yeah,
she,
exactly.
she said, so I bring 20 grand to the table. I'm like, yeah. So, but I mean, it's like, and I remember like the first couple times where I realized that I wasn't a wage earner anymore. I was paid for my results.
Yeah.
I remember that transition, and that's a hard for a lot of people.
It's really hard for a lot of people because I have a team and, I work with agents. We ask them how many calls did you make this week? And, I've had agents on my team in the past where, I'm making 40 calls a week, 40 calls a week, but they're getting absolutely no results, which means they're not really making the calls, which means you have to really evaluate that, right? Because you do get
Right,
paid for results in this business and you get paid for relationships and you get paid for results, right? So,
right,
being able to, and, I think being a strong communicator and also like a knowledge broker,
right,
really understanding the market. Like right now, I think we're probably in this market for another 12 months, maybe a little bit longer.
Right.
Once this market turns, I think there's a lot of pent up demand, and agents better be ready, because I do think that we're going to see another a big wave of buyers that come back through the market again. And
Oh yeah.
when those days come, you need to be super prepared and ready to go for them. So,
Right.
it's all the preparation that you're going to do today will get you ready for the days that are going to be coming down the road. But, you've got to be just relentless in marketing, and again, staying top of mind with people, knowing the market right now. I'm talking to all my first time home buyers and buyers about, really getting out there and looking now where we can get them. Sellers are paying buy down money pretty
Right.
frequently. I think every transaction that we've got under contract, including my listings, we're giving buy down money, or we're getting buy down money. And
Right.
so for buyers right now, it's a no brainer to get out there when there's not very much competition. Get
Right.
your rate bought down a couple points, and then,
Especially this time of year as we're going into
yep,
the down cycle.
sellers are taking contingent offers again. So,
Yeah.
but you got to be, I think you've got to be confident in, when you're talking to your clients and sharing that information. Like I said, I'm calling my first time home buyers that are like, I want to wait until next year. And I'm talking to them about why we should be, considering looking now. And, it's helping people get off the fence a little bit. They know they might be in their payment for a year, maybe two at the most,
Right.
I would think. Right. But at the end of the day, they're going to get into a home they love. They're not going to overpay for it. They're not going to be competing
Right.
for the most part.
You're not going to be waiving
No,
inspections.
yeah, meeting appraisal gaps, all those good things that are challenging. And with, I think especially with first time home buyers, they don't typically have a lot of money. So
No, they
when you
can't
get in
compete.
markets like that, they can't even compete. So,
No, 5% down, because closing costs are the first thing to go away when you have a surge of buyers. Then you
yeah,
got a 5% down. You got 2.5, 2 to 3% closing costs, depending on the price point. And then, um, appraisal gap. It's like, I mean, the only people that have that kind of money are like just sold a property typically.
yeah,
Very
yeah,
few people save that amount of money. And so, yeah, part of the campaign that we're partnering on is that's the first one is the cost of waiting for rates to go down. And when they go on the landing page, I actually walk them through what's going to happen when rates do come down. They're going to have the surge of buyers, talk
yeah,
about how we have a shortage of inventory. So, like right now, the builders are building like 1.4 million homes a year. But the problem is we create like 1.6 million new households every year.
yeah,
So so as time marches on, we're getting shorter and shorter in houses. We're not solving the problem with time. It's
no,
like it's like crazy. I don't know. I don't see how we're going to get out of this, and not in the near future anyway.
no, we're
And
not.
so then if I ran the numbers, if rates on a $500,000 house, I use $500,000 house and $500,000 mortgage. If rates were to go down 1%, I think you save like $325 a month. So which comes out to $3,900 a year, which is a lot of money.
Yeah,
But if all the big boys are saying, BlackRock and all those are saying that home values are going up 6%. But if they go up 3%, let's get conservative. You have a $500,000 house that goes up 3%. Well, that's $15,000 in equity, but you're losing 15 in equity trying to save 3,900.
yep,
So and then not to mention the closing costs are gone. Once the market changes, so the smart money says buy now, refi later.
yeah.
You know,
So true. That's a really good point you make too, with the like understanding appreciation versus like the interest rate savings,
right?
so, and rents are high right now. They're really high right
Yeah,
now. A lot of people are already they're
two
paying so
grand a
much
month
for it.
easily,
Yeah,
2,500.
exactly. Exactly. So I like how you just said that though. I'll have to throw that in my arsenal, the way that you phrased it, you know, losing out on the 3% to save yourself $3,900.
Right.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I wrote that down, Rob.
Yeah. Well, it's always fun. You know, uh, um, there's a Bible verse that says, as iron sharpens iron, man will sharpen man.
Yeah.
So I made a reference to, I was teaching a CE class the other week, and they put on a comment that I was talking about religion, right? And so the CE class was called Know Thy Addendum. And so one of the addendum was FERPTA, right? The FERPTA addendum. I'm like, so I reference in there. So FERPTA says if there's a foreign investor and the tax is due at closing, if the seller doesn't pay it, the buyer's on the hook.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, so what the IRS has done is made the buyer a tax collector. And I'm like, even the Bible has like sinners and tax collectors. I mean, they're like tax collectors are like, they're like scum. They're like further down the line. You got pimps, murderers, and rapists, and then tax collectors on the other. And so, and I was using it as a joke. And this guy, so one of the surveys was, I shouldn't be talking about religion. Oh my God.
Oh,
I mean, it's like,
just don't talk politics. Politics
well,
and
well,
religion.
the funny thing was, when we got to the COVID addendum, I said, and I'm surprised nobody mentioned that, because I did throw a zinger in there where it's like, yeah, we don't need that. I said, but we have an election coming up. You never know. And so that just went over most people's heads. But anyway, enough of that.
I like it.
So agents are funny, you
Yeah.
know, they just crack me up. It's like, really? That's what you took out of this whole class? I just went through 43 addenda, and all you remember was I made a joke about sinners and tax collectors.
Uh,
So yeah, some people just they got nothing better to do. But anyway, so how about like, so you gave us your morning, so you have like your agents do a lot of prospecting, but you do a lot of rainmaking. So what about like CRM? What kind of CRM are you using? What do you use?
we just use Follow Up Boss for our
Follow
CRM. I also use Referral Maker that I get through my coaching with
with
Buffini.
Brian Buffini,
They
yeah.
provide that. Yeah. We put our relationships, people that we've closed with, we're currently actively working with, where we've captured all their information that goes into our CRM with Referral Maker, and then all of our lead gen activities go through Follow Up Boss. So it's a really great platform for
Got
agents
it.
to keep track
So
of their.
follow up bosses for like leads coming in,
Mhm.
but
Yes.
then once they're like a past client or and all that, then they go in their referral maker.
Yes. Then we move
Yeah.
them over. It's kind of a little bit of a duplication, but I also, because of
But
how I
they're
run
two
my
different
business,
beasts. Lead follow
they
up
are
and
two different beasts. And because of how I run my business, I don't want a database of like 100,000
people
people
that
that just
like and nobody knows who they are.
no one knows who they are. That works for a lot of agents and different teams, but like it doesn't work for my
No,
brain and the way that I like to keep my database sorted and qualified. So we like
right.
Pearl Maker for those purposes. So that's what we use.
Yeah, I've always had, I'm like, they stay in my lead follow up until they sign something. Then when they sign something, then they go in my database,
Yep.
you know, because
Yep.
like you said, I don't want these, back when we do web leads, you'd have 100 leads to get one.
Yeah.
And so who wants all those people in a clogging up a CRM?
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah. So you follow up bots for leads and then referral me. And so yeah. And I like Brian Buffini's stuff. I mean, I've heard good things about his referral maker software. I've never used it,
It's really
but
good. There's also a new one that just came out that was developed. The guy who actually developed it worked for Brian. He actually made, I think he was the creator of Referral Maker, but it's called Circle Closer.
okay.
And it's for real estate agents. We bought it, and I think we're integrating into it just to see how it will work out for our team, but we're not fully, I mean, I couldn't speak much to it other than
Right.
just watching what some of the things it can do and having you close your circles every day. It's kind of like your iWatch or whatever. But it's a pretty good one too, and it's very inexpensive. I want to say it's like $300 a year.
Oh,
So
that's
if,
cheap. Yeah.
any agents are on a budget, Circle Closer would be a really good one to look into.
Right.
And it's built for people that work their business by referral too. So,
Right. Right.
it's making you touch base with your clients each day, telling you who to touch base with, that sort of thing. So I like that
Right.
one quite a
Got it.
bit. Yeah.
And then you mentioned earlier about events, right? Like client
Mhm.
events. So tell me about those. What do you do?
We do 5 events a year.
Okay.
So in February, we do a dinner party for all the clients that bought and sold with us the previous year, anyone who sent us a referral, and then we invite people that we're currently actively working with.
Okay.
So that one's a nice adults only. We do it at the
Right.
country club, nice dinner. We have a program, we have a band, so we go all out on that party, and that's in the first quarter of the year. And then we do like a shred junk event so people can bring, they
Right.
can
Shred it.
shred
Yeah.
their stuff, bring their garbage. And that's a fun one. It's a smaller one that we do. We just have people come to my office, and it's nice because I get to have some one-on-one time with clients. 'Cause a
Right.
lot of my parties are pretty big. Then we do a summer event, so we might rent Cowabunga Bay and close the park down and invite all of our clients to that. So kind of what we do with our parties too is some of them are big, some of them are small. So like the summer party, we invite the whole database. So
Right.
we can have anywhere
Yeah, because
from,
that's families, right?
yeah, it's families. We encourage people to bring friends or family that we need to meet. So we're always asking for introductions to people
Sure.
that we need to know, anybody thinking about buying or selling. So our summer party is a big one. We typically have anywhere from 600 to 1,000 people that come, so they're huge.
That's
Um,
big. Yeah.
we do a pumpkin patch, and that's our like best attended one. I think this year we had 850 people at the patch. So
Wow.
we do that in the fall, and then we do cookies with Santa, and that's a smaller party. So we invite like our A pluses, A's and B's to that one. So we'll usually have like 250 to 300 people at that one. So
Now, do you finance that all yourself through your team, or do you have sponsors that help you?
we'd have some sponsors, but it's primarily financed by myself for the team.
Right.
We do some co-marketing with lenders and things like that, so they
Sure.
offset some of the cost. So,
Right.
but the majority of it is, it just depends on the party. So some of them are more sponsored than others.
Right.
Depends on the willingness of sponsors too. It's been a
Right.
hard year.
Right.
It's been a hard year for people, and you
Right.
know, I think a lot of people are just being really careful with their budgets.
Yeah. Lenders, I mean, they got, because lenders, I mean, they do both refi and purchases.
Mhm.
So, refis are all but disappeared, and then purchases are way down. So they got,
Mhm.
slammed twice,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, I just saw an event where they had this event coming up in November, the end of November, when they booked it more than a year ago. They booked a room in the hotel and everything, the conference and all that. And they're like, yeah, we had no problem selling tickets for $1,000. He's like, you can come, I'll give you free tickets. You just got to get there,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. Cause, back in, August of whatever, 2022, rates were starting to climb, but, they
Yeah.
were still making a lot of money, and everybody's like,
Yes.
yeah, now
In
they're
on
like,
everything, spending their money. Yeah, I think people have tightened down a lot. Another thing I do even outside of just client events is I do a pretty good job of like keeping in touch with out of state agents and making connections with agents
right.
all over the country and Canada. We do a huge referral based business here. Probably 60% of the business we do comes from agents out of state,
Is
just
that
referring
right? Okay.
clients
Yeah.
into us. And so I also will do smaller events with real estate agents. So I just hosted one up in Heber, a business masterclass, and we had like 15 people. So they're small, but this really great masterminding that you can do with other agents. And I think it's a source of business that agents overlook. Part of my business plan every year is to look at the conferences that are coming up for the next 12 months. So a lot of
Mhm.
them are Buffini conferences that I do go to. He puts on some amazing events, and so it's a great opportunity to meet people.
Right.
And
It's
then
great agent networking event. Yeah.
amazing agent networking. And then I market to agents out of state just like I do agents or like I
To
do my
clients.
clients.
Right.
So we send out a direct mail piece every month. We do a newsletter every month. Like we're always doing little things. Like we are doing a note writing campaign for the month of November. So we have about I think we have like 600 people that signed up for it that are agents, but we essentially every day will send an email to anybody that signed up with note writing. Well, actually, it's a prompt to write a note to someone, and we will actually write a note template for them. So all they got to do is write the note, put the address on, and pop it in the mail. So we've done this as our 5th year doing it, I want to say 5th or 6th year. And every year we have a couple of extra 100 people that sign up for it, but people love it. So just always trying to stay relevant everywhere.
Right.
That's the secret sauce, is whether it be through your own clients, whether it be, you really want to build out an agent to agent business, because that's a great business. We live in Utah too, obviously. So like so
We have a
many
lot of
people are
in-migration.
moving here. And so I want to be the agent that my friends think about when they learn of somebody moving to Utah. So,
You ever see that? There was a page, it was on Redfin's site,
mm,
and they had it where
yes.
you could see where their immigration was coming from.
Yeah, I need to look at that again. But yes,
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting. Redfin has a good site for stats.
Yeah. I mean, so if I were an agent on the street, I would take that, and I would run Craigslist ads in those cities,
Yeah.
because people like I tell people, make sure you put on KSL and Craigslist. They're like, Craigslist. I'm like, we know we don't use Craigslist, but if somebody just moved here from out of state and they're looking on Craigslist,
Yeah,
and
it's
you
true.
have way less competition.
It's true.
K
It is true.
KSL's a hot mess,
Mm-hmm.
where Craigslist, you can run open houses there and get some traffic out of it. And the thing is, you're getting out of towners.
Yeah, you are, which is what you want. They got to buy. They're
Yeah,
probably living in some temporary housing.
yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're my favorites. When I was
Yes.
in Florida, we used to work rentals. So I worked for a company, it was called Rent Free Realty, but we'd have like 6 people on floor during the weekend. Saturday, we'd have like 12 people on floor duty. And you'd see like during the day, you'd see anywhere from 2 to 3 ups a day. And so, it's just a little storefront. You walked in, it was like 4 desks on each side, it had the glass mirror with the manager was in the back answering the phones. And
Mm-hmm.
so, and every once in a while you'd see a U-Haul truck pull up outside. We're like, sweet, I'm like, have a seat.
Yep.
Me and you were going, because we would take them out and we would rent properties the way we buy and sell here.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
our MLS literally, well, back then it was books.
Yeah.
So we had 2 books. We had 3 books. We had single families, condos, separate book, and then we had rentals and another one.
Yeah. It's definitely in other states. I know they do it that way because I'll have people that move here and they're like, "Hey, I have a client. I'm going to refer them to you. Can you help them with a rental?" And I'm like, "Not really. Like
No,
we don't
it's
really do that
challenging.
here,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I help them, and the same thing with like people that want to get their house rented. I'm like, like what? I can't really do property management. And
yeah,
so what I would do is I would help them. I'd get the photographer ready. I'd get,
yeah.
help them like write the ad. I'd like give them a landing page on just a Google Doc page with,
Mm-hmm.
have a link to all the photos, run the ad for them, and just, I'd even hold it open. I'm like Saturday morning, it's open from 11 to 1, you know,
Mm-hmm.
drive by all week. If you like it, I'll give you an application on Saturday, but I wouldn't take a fee. I wouldn't represent anybody,
Yeah.
just, a good client. I mean, I just took care of my clients.
Yep.
People are like, why are you doing that? You're not getting paid. I'm like, trust me, I make money. Don't worry
Oh,
about it.
you do make money. Hey, you know what?
They're
They
not
come
going to
back
list with
around.
anybody else,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yep.
know,
They'll call you when they need something and
you know
someone.
it. And they'll refer all their friends in, and there are people that own multiple properties. I mean, hey, they got friends that own multiple properties. That's the network I want to be in, right?
Well, the thing is what a lot of people don't understand it. It's not always about the money, right? In the upfront. It's not even
Right.
always, to me, it's not even about the money. And I've luckily done well enough that I serve my clients to serve them. And the
Right.
money is the byproduct of what we do. Like, again, we're in the
Man.
business for profit, not nonprofit.
Right.
So we do have to make a profit and they know that. But if you serve people, the great thing about that is they don't question anything about the money. They don't, when you want it,
Right.
when you say I'm going to list your house in at 6%, they don't ask you to do a reduction in your commission. They know
Right.
what you're worth. And it isn't just they knowing that you're going to serve them and get their home sold. It's everything else that that you offer, that support, that, it's just being there for clients and helping them where they don't know. Like I've got some clients right now that are selling their home and I'm sorry, they're renting their home and so they wanted to own some rental properties and they're buying another home. And I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, this is where you run the application. This is where you do the background. Let me
Right.
help you with a lease agreement because I own my own rental properties, so I
Right.
can do all of those things. I don't do property management, but I can absolutely walk them through step by
Right.
step. And they appreciate that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the thing that you've said it the exact way I have always said it is, I just serve people and the money is a byproduct. I mean, I literally use those exact words,
Yeah.
just serve the universe and things just manage to work out,
Yeah, it
you
really
know,
does. It really
it's
does.
like,
When you have a heart to serve and that's what you're here for. And I feel like you can get a lot more joy out of the business too when you're doing it
yeah,
for those, you're doing it with that, I guess, with that end in mind, right? Like
yeah,
at the end of the day, I mean, I might work with someone for a year and they might decide not to buy or not to sell but you know what? I will have done a great enough job for them and I will just, always be here for them when they need me. And they always come back. People always come back if you
right,
treat them right through the process and when they make the decision that they need to wait. And I know a lot of agents get really frustrated, like, oh my gosh, I wasted so much time on you. And I'm like, there is no such thing as a waste of time unless you let it be
right,
a waste.
right.
That's on the agent. It's not
Yeah,
on the client.
I agree. I mean,
So,
there are some people out there that will try to use and abuse you, but when you develop who you are, that you're there to serve, and
mhm,
those people tend to go away on their own,
they do.
the ones that'll use and abuse you. Because
Yeah,
I have from my coach and mortgage coach, so I picked this up from him. It's like we never say no, just how.
yeah,
So not everybody qualifies today, but
yeah,
here's how you can qualify, you know, and so, I love that. But you have to be prepared to spend the time and energy with them, and the coach I mean, he's on track to close like 700 loans this year. And
mhm,
so he has his own in-house uh, credit repair guy. You know, he's out of the Midwest. Yeah, I mean, he closes like a boat ton of loans, but his average price is like 120 grand. It's all USDA. Everything he does, all USDA.
mhm.
So he's capitalized that on multiple states.
Amazing. Niched
Yeah.
it. Yep.
Yep. But there's no such thing as no, just how. Love
It's
that.
yep.
Love that.
Right.
Well, you mentioned a marketing company. Tell us about that if you want. I mean,
Yeah. No, I co-own a marketing company with a good friend of mine. It's called Be Epic Marketing, and essentially it's the exact marketing I do for my own business. We just kind of packaged it up, put a little bow on
sure.
it. So it's a monthly marketing suite. We create all the social media posts and graphics and hashtags, all the write up. We do a monthly newsletter. We do a blog. We write video scripts. So we have long ones and short ones. We do a direct mail piece. So it's a postcard and they're very personalized. So everything we do is really creative. It's unique. I'm a big advocate for making sure that you put a face on your business. And I think it's
Right.
important that, if you look at like social media, if you people what posts with faces get a lot more engagement than just stock pictures and things like that.
Right.
So yeah, so the thing that's unique about it is it's not just like chat GPT content. I mean, we have a full-time copywriter who writes all the content for all the social, the newsletters, the blogs, the video scripts, and then we provide everything. So it's really essentially like it's ready. So our agents get their content 15 days before the month begins. There's a few things they need to do to personalize it, film a couple of videos, take a couple photos to get into the postcards and whatnot. And then it's pretty easy to put that together, schedule it out and get it sent out. So we opened our company about a year ago, and a lot of the need came is because I market this, like I said, I market the same way to agents out of state. And I had so many people calling me, how do you do this? How do you do this? How do you do this? Just I stay in front of people really well. And then I have people that come in and shadow in my office quite a bit. And so there's a big need for marketing and agents being able to do it consistently and having not just, again, like there's great platforms out there where you can copy and paste stuff and then just
Right.
kind of make it your own. But it's a full marketing suite. It provides all the touches an agent would need every single month. It's like $4.99 a month. So it's very inexpensive considering like to do this marketing on your own, you would really need a full-time person to do that.
Yeah, you'd have to
Uh,
hire a full-time VA to
so you got
cost
a
you that much
full-time
anyway.
salary versus $4.99 a month,
Right.
and then you pay for postage and it's designed for the agent that is doing a good business, right? That can afford to like put some
Right.
money into their marketing, but that want to go to another level in their business.
Right.
The first year that I implemented the marketing program, which was like probably 12 years ago at this point, but I doubled my business that year. And
Right.
so just staying in front of people so consistently on multiple platforms, and people like, I mean, people can't even hide from me, Rob, if they want to. I'm like, I'm
Right.
gonna be in your inbox, I'm gonna be in your mailbox, I'm gonna be in your social media feed. Like you're gonna see me everywhere. My face is going to be everywhere. Like you can't forget Heather Roxburgh and you won't.
Right.
So, that's and people do forget their agents. It's a crazy thing when I meet people and I'm like, well, did you not? Why are you using me? You just bought a house 2 years ago, and now you're calling me to sell your house, and they maybe were referred to me or something, and they a lot of times can't even remember the name of their agent. And
Right.
I know we hear that, and that's loosely flown, like that stat is given all the time, but it's really true. Like it happens
Right.
all the time when I talk to people and I can't remember their agent, and I'm like, well, you'll never forget me even if you want to. So
Right.
you're stuck
Yeah.
with me now. I'm going to
I
market to
always
you
say
until you're dying.
it's free to get on the list. It's $50 to get off, It's like,
Yeah, it's true.
So,
And
and that
it's,
when I go ahead.
well, I was just going to say, like, agents are really inconsistent, like,
Oh,
again, we are in the most reactive business on the planet. So if you're like, okay, I'm going to do my social media, and you're reliant on yourself, like doing it 3 days a week, you're going to forget to do it.
right.
Things are going to come up unless you're really dialed in on that. But it's just to, I guess, to sell a decent amount of homes, like, you've got, again, it goes back to systems, right? You've got to invest. And I don't think a lot of agents invest in their business like they should
No,
either. I
well,
mean,
they
you've
treat it like a job, not like a business.
it is. And I always tell people we're in the business of marketing, not sales. The sales that we get are the byproduct of the marketing that we're doing.
Right.
And if you market your business properly, you're going to have a lot more sales. And that's just,
Yeah, you have to have sales skills because
yes.
regardless of it, I mean, if you can be the greatest marketer in the world. If the
Yeah.
phone is ringing, well, you got now sales skills show up. You got to
Yeah.
close for the appointment.
You do.
People are like, people are moving, so people are, when they're moving, they're wigging out, right? I mean, and I share this a lot is, if you take the average, let's say you take a family that makes, we'll just say 84,000 a year income, right? Combined family income. So that's
Mm-hmm.
7,000 a month, but they got a bunch of equity. So they're going to sell a house that they bought for, 250,000. Now they're selling it for 500,000 and they're going to buy an $800,000 house,
Mm-hmm.
so now they're like, so first of all, they already have a major life event taking place. That's why they're moving,
Yep.
you know, people don't move because they're bored, and so now they have a major life event. And then you have Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So shelter's being disrupted. So that's like freaking them out at a core, like DNA level. Then they're selling a $500,000 house, 550, and buying an 800. So they're like involved in $1.3 million worth of transactions, and
Mm-hmm.
they live in a $7,000 a month world,
Yep.
and it's like, and then you show up, I mean,
Yeah.
whoever that is, are you ready to handle that? you know I mean, that's a lot to handle for people,
It is a
you
lot.
know but you mentioned it, they're so inconsistent. When I had
Mm-hmm.
my brokerage, and one of the things I did for my agents, I had multiple things for them. We would do multimedia, I mean, social media posting for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we did 3 posts a week on whatever platform they had. And then we did an email a week for them. We set it up to where we just created a MailChimp for each one of them. And we
Yeah.
just literally logged in and sent the email for them. And
Yep.
then I did mailers once a month, direct mail marketing, because I have all the equipment. So, I mean, we did that for the agents. We provided all that service for them.
Which is amazing. And I love direct mail. It's a lost art because people don't want to spend the money on it. But, like,
Yeah.
I'm like, the inbox, the mailbox, I'm sorry, the mailbox is where it's at, because, like, everybody gets their mail and they have to, like, it has to cross their hand. They
Right.
can't just, they're not just
They
going to throw
can't
all
select
their
all
mail
and
in the
delete.
garbage. They can't delete. Yeah.
Right.
So they can't unsubscribe. They can't do any of that.
Right.
So I love the postcard mailing pieces. Like,
Yep.
that's huge for us. I mean, we spend thousands a month in postage every month sending out our
Right.
mailers. So the mailers are good. We also, with the marketing company, we have a virtual assistant that works for us. And so people, if they don't want to do the marketing themselves, in terms of, like, there is some work that you have to do with it. You obviously have to schedule it into Meta to get it out
Right.
on social. You've got to, export your list to do the mailings and things like that. You've got to film a couple of videos and take a couple of pictures. We have a virtual assistant option where I think it's an extra of $199 a month, and then we do everything for the agents. So we have quite a few of our members that do the virtual option. It just
Got it.
makes so much sense, and it's just done for them,
Right.
everything. So
And that's a
works
lot
well.
of
We're getting a
agents
lot of
like that.
results. Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. It's like, well, I don't want to spend $400 a month. I'm like, well, when I hear an agent say spend, I already know that they don't understand the word investment,
Yeah.
because this is not a spend, it's an investment. So
Yeah.
as soon as they say spend, I already know they're not a good fit,
It's true.
because they don't
True.
get it.
No, you have to, I learned early on the importance of, like, I mean, it's like the 10-10-10, call it whatever you want. Invest 10% in your education,
Oh,
invest 10% back into your business, invest 10%, into yourself. Like, I've always been of the mindset of saying, okay, if I make $1 million this year, then I've got to take $100,000 and I need to go to some events. I need to do some marketing. I've got to
Right.
grow in some way, shape, or form, because
Right.
that needs to be part of my business plan. And I think that's why I've achieved success, because I'm always learning, I'm always growing, I'm always
Yep.
trying to make sure that, like, I'm not a mortgage loan officer, I'm not a mortgage expert, but I know a lot about different loans, and I can
Yeah.
speak to that, right? And
31 years in real estate. I learned a
so
lot about
many
loans.
agents, a lot of agents don't take it upon themselves to really educate themselves about
No.
different options out there. So they don't know how to speak to that to a client. And I get a lot of referrals, and people really trust me, as they should, because I'm not gonna lead them down the wrong path. I'll never tell somebody something if I don't know for a fact it's true.
Right.
So it's always making sure I'm just really looking out for my clients in every way, and being a connector. I'm a big connector,
Right.
having to really get great, vendor database too, that I can hook people up with really great people that are going to work hard for them. So
Right. But you mentioned, it's funny you mentioned 10, 10, 10. The 10, 10, 10 rule that I heard was about Park City. It was 10,000 square feet for $10 million a year, for 10,000 square feet for $10 million for 10 days a year.
that is actually true too.
So when you
It's
said
just
10, 10, 10, and I'm like,
crazy.
what does that got to do with what you're talking about, So,
Hey, yeah, divvying out those funds in the right places, right?
yep. Yeah, no, yeah, I spent a boat ton of money on my training, you know,
Mm-hmm.
coaching. I'm always involved in some sort of coaching at some level.
Yep.
Yeah, I go to conferences, So, I mean, I went to one VA conference in May. I mean, 3 days in a room, 600 people, mostly underwriters and processors. And then it was like, so in the order, it would have been processors, underwriters, and then appraisers, and then loan officers, and then like a very few agents. But it
Yeah.
was really good. I mean, 3 days with the VA, it was free. They put it on.
Yeah.
They're there just to train you. What I've learned about them is that it's mostly all veterans running it, right? When I
Mhm.
say the VA, I don't mean the VA is massive, right? I mean, so when
Yeah.
I say VA,
Huge.
I'm just the narrow silo of the VA loan guarantee,
Yeah.
not medical or anything. Because I mean, you can go medical and that thing goes,
Yeah.
how deep that goes. But anyway, but what I've learned is that the people in the VA, like if you have, like I did a CE class, I have one on VA home loans, and I was out in Tooele, and a girl literally, she was pacing outside on the phone, and then she came in, and then when I was going through like Tidewater, you know what Tidewater is,
Oh,
right?
I do. Yep.
But a lot of people don't know there's another layer you can do, and she didn't know. They already went through Tidewater and it failed. And I said, well,
Hmm.
the veteran can actually appeal the VA. And so they had a transaction. The purchase price was 760. The appraisal came in at 680. And they were like, not
Dang.
even close, right?
Far
And the
apart.
appraiser was just way off. So they had comps. I mean, the buyer wanted it. So here you got a veteran trying to buy his dream home, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, but the veteran can appeal the VA. So I was in a class and taught it. She came up to me afterwards. She said, I never knew that. And then so a couple of weeks later, I heard back. They said, look, we appealed, we won. They didn't win. They got it up to 744, the county loan limit.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
the
Yep.
conventional county loan limit, which is obviously a far cry better than 680.
Yeah.
So the veteran got his home. Even the broker's like, hey, we owe you a deal. It's like,
Yeah.
so but they didn't know that, and their loan officer didn't know it. And I'm like, you got to get, I mean, VA, it's the only product where you get two chances on a low appraisal.
Yeah.
You go Tidewater if that doesn't work. And so, but here's the thing: when the veteran's appealing, the person on the other end of the phone is usually another veteran.
Yeah.
So these are brothers and sisters in arms. So
Yeah.
they're basically looking the veteran in the eye and say, do you want the house? And they go, yeah, done.
I really
I mean,
want it, and I feel like it's worth it. So let's
yeah,
make this happen.
yeah. And the veteran on the other end is like, okay, you know, so they don't actually change the appraisal. They just guarantee the loan.
Hey, I just learned something new today. So I'll be sharing that with my team at team meeting this week.
I have a 1 hour CE class on that. If you ever want me to come in and teach it, I'd be more than happy.
I would love that. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for that information.
Yeah. I do a whole 1 hour. It's called Myth Busting the VA Home Loan. There's so many myths tied to the VA home loan that I'm
Oh
there
yeah,
to
there's a lot.
dispel it.
Yep.
So, Well, this has been fun. I mean, we're actually past an hour, if you know that.
No, I
Like I
didn't.
said, once we get going, two dogs, old dogs been around a long time. We could just talk this crap all day,
Oh
you know.
yeah.
I mean, and there's so many avenues that we can run down,
Yeah. It's a
I
great
mean,
business. We're blessed. I'm blessed to be able to have
oh
so many
yeah,
avenues to run down, right?
right. Yeah, me too. I mean, so I'm building two businesses like you. You have two businesses. And so mine is the mortgage obviously, and the other one is the print mail marketing solution
Yes.
that we're involved in together. So, but if somebody so if an agent was out there and they had hustle and they wanted to join your team, or if they wanted to talk to you about your what did you call BFF marketing?
Be epic, like BEE,
Oh,
like
Be
love.
Epic.
Be
Be
epic.
Epic. Got it.
Mhm.
Be Epic marketing. So I was thinking best friends forever, that's what I thought I heard. That works too,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
anyway, so if somebody was interested in any of that, how would they get a hold of you?
They could call me. My cell phone is 801-913-6454.
Okay.
I have a website for the marketing company. It's called beepicmarketing.com. So like, again, it's BEE
Right.
epicmarketing.com. They could
Oh,
go
so
on my
B as in
website.
Bumblebee. So there's
Yeah.
three E's or two, just two. So BE and then
BEE.
E
So three
P
E's.
I's. Oh, three E's. Okay, three
So
E's.
BEEEPIC
Okay. So it's three
marketing.
A's, right? Three E's.
Yeah. Yep. Be
So
epic
Bumblebee
marketing.
Epic, and that's how I'll remember it.
Yep. They could email me too at heather@theroxburghgroup.com, but give me a call. Like that's my direct cell phone. They can give me a call, and we're
Sure.
always looking for really good agents to join our team. So, that's
Right.
something that, I'm always looking for good agents. So if there's
Yeah.
any good
Talent.
agents out there listening to this, call me. We have a
Yeah.
great team.
Talent is like, there's always room for talent.
Always room for talent. And
I'll make room if I
yeah,
have to.
yeah, I love helping agents. Really, I love to help them grow their businesses. I like to show them how to build a referral-based business, and that's something that we do here is just really coach and mentor our agents to, like obviously people are on my team, but I want them to have individuality as well. And so I
Right.
really help them, learn how to grow a business, learn the things that they need to do to build that
Right.
business. And again, we do all the parties. We pretty much like, I mean, it's a we have our team is structured in a way that agents can truly do the top three things that you mentioned,
Right.
right? Contracts,
Right.
put people under
Set
contract.
appointments, go on appointments, and negotiate a
Yeah.
contract.
Yeah. And outside of that, unless they're stubborn and they don't want to utilize the TC, which, we've had agents before that it's hard for them to delegate and turn things
Right.
over. But the ones that actually do it and they lean into our systems, they have a lot of capacity to sell as many houses as they want to, depending
Right.
on what their goals are. So,
Right. And
and
I get it too. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh, go ahead, you go.
I was going to say, in today's world with the technology and the electronic signatures, I mean, obviously you can manage more on your own, but I
Yeah,
still say get a TC. I mean, it's just like, it's a
yeah,
no brainer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, even when you have somebody, my transaction manager she's licensed. She actually was a buyer's agent for a few years. So she can help write addendums and different things like that. So when agents are out in the field, we're here
Right.
on the back end. They can
Yeah.
go
We
on
need to change
vacation
it.
and not work,
Yeah.
so it's a great thing, depending on, I think teams are a really good way to go, especially if you're struggling right now.
Right.
One thing, I mean, I do produce a lot of leads and I don't work with all my leads, and
Right.
I don't have time. And
Right.
so, I definitely disperse them out to my team members as well. So everybody's closing deals every month here. So it's a
Sweet.
good system we have. Yep.
Well, so you heard it, boys and girls. If you're out there hustling and you're having some issue, you just give Heather a call. She will take you to your next level. And then if you're looking for a turnkey marketing solution, she's got that going on too. So, and it's a proven system, right? I mean, she's basically been successful and then package it up, like you said, put a little bow on it, and here it is. So anyway, well, thanks for joining us, folks. And thanks, Miss Heather, for coming on. A great honor to have you here.
Thank you. It was
Yeah, no,
fun.
yeah, it was good hanging out. And so, and again, this is Productive Agent podcast sponsored and powered by Aubrey Home Loans. Any questions, just give me a holler.